drilled, screwed, and glued. And I want to take you through step by step on how we made them. So come on in. Come on in. Now take 6 boards, like I said. 1 by 12 by 8 foot. I lay everything out on the bench, and I have patterns of all the parts that I'm using. Every part is for a different part on a chair. Like, for instance, this part right here, this will take care of this. I have everything match marked. I put everything down. I trace everything out, and then I'm ready to go. So follow me through all the steps, and we'll see how you'll be able to see how we do this. So the last piece I have to mark is the main leg here. We'll knock this one off here, and then we're all ready to start cutting these pieces out. I have all my patterns. I have them for years. I made them out of masonite. Easy to trace off. I have all my match marks for my bolts and everything. So what we're going to do now, because I can't cut everything on a bandsaw, we're just going to cut them in pieces here and there so that you fit on the bandsaw. And so right now I want to hook up my saber saw. I have it all hooked up, and we'll just run a couple off. And I have the table saw already hooked up to rip off the 18 pieces for the chair slats. It takes 18 pieces. It takes 9 apiece for the chair slats. Now these are all going to be rounded off, pre-drilled and everything. But I want to just cut this first, and then we'll go. I'll finish cutting the chair slats. So I want to put my glasses on, because not only because I'm safety conscious, but because I can't see too good anymore. Okay, here we go. By cutting them in pieces like this, it makes it easier for me to use the bandsaw. These pieces will all be cut later on the bandsaw, so that I can cut everything now. But I'll just make one more cut here. Have them all set up so you can see that every piece is cut. Pieces are on here, ready to be cut. It's a lot easier to have a small piece to work with on the bandsaw. You don't have to worry too much about losing your line. Now, I started before to cut my 18 slats for the seat. I put a jig up, I set everything up here so that everything is one shot. You don't have to measure every one. So, this is on my table saw, everything is locked in. I have everything on a jig here, so everything will be uniform. Take out the lumber so that we don't use knots for the seat. Although knots do look nice when they're stained and varnished, we try to stay away from the knots for the seat. So I need 2 pieces out of here yet, then I'll have my 18 pieces cut. that I made for the one down at the end of the yard. We'll put this up at the end of the summer after the birds are done nesting. Like I said before, we cut all the pieces out, a half like this, and everything's marked, everything is center lined and marked. So now I'm going to start cutting everything on a bandsaw. The 12-inch bandsaw, I have a vacuum system hooked up. So I want to cut out a couple pieces and show you how we do it. First piece. This is our first piece of our lathe. Now we need 3 more like this for 2 more chairs. And you can see I have an awful lot of pieces to cut out, and it's going to take a lot of time. So I'm going to cut out a few more, and then you'll get the idea how we're going to do it. Here's our arm. We have to cut this guy out. This is our arm. We need 3 more after this one. And there's so many different things we have to do after we're cut out. They have to be sanded. We're going to put them on a shaper and knock the edge off, give it a nice round profile. So at least you got the idea of what we're going to do until we get all these pieces cut. So I'll be right back. See this notch here? This is the part that comes across the two chair mains, rounded off to accept the back, and everything is going to be nailed, screwed together. I think once I get it done, you'll have a pretty good idea how to do it yourself. The last time we talked, I had only cut out these pieces here. These are our mains for our chair. I needed two sets, so here's the four of them. After I had everything laid out, I cut all the pieces out of all my parts. All the parts are cut out, and I have a few more back pieces to cut out yet for the back of the chair. So I'm going to finish cutting these out. I have about 4 or 5 more. I have one radius to cut out yet. That's your brace under your arm. I'm going to cut that out, and then we're going to go over on the joiner. So bear with me for a few minutes. Pieces for the entire 2 chairs are cut out. But that isn't the end of the job. Now we have to do the fine tuning. We have to sand it, we have to join it, we have to shape everything up so everything is nice. Now when we cut everything on the bandsaw, it leaves a rough surface on here. So the only way to do a job and make it look real professional, we use the joiner. The joiner is a series of knives that are hooked onto a drum here. Now this is a very dangerous piece of equipment. This will take your fingers off before you know it. So you have to be very careful. So what we're going to do now, just to show you how this works, is we're going to turn the joiner on. We're going to take a piece off, a shavings off, all the way down on both sides. That will keep everything uniform. everything. Now by doing this, on every one that I cut here, every one will be true, exactly true. Because if you put it on with rough edges like this here, it isn't a very professional job. So I'm going to get back to planing all these down, but first I want to plane down 4 more pieces for the seat. It took 18 of these, so it takes 9 for each chair. So I have these already all cut and they're all planed, but I have these few more to do. So I just want to show you how much it'll take off. Now you can see it takes a bite of about 1/8 of an inch. So when I cut these out from my pattern, I left it maybe 3/16 heavy. That would give me enough to whack off like an 1/8 inch here and an 1/8 inch over here, and they're all going to be uniform, perfect. So that when they line up on the seat, they're all the same. But there's a lot of work to do yet, so here we go. Slats for my seats, they're all done. They're all done, perfectly lined up, and everything's ready to go. The only thing that I have to do yet is sand down 4 sides on everything that's sitting here. All my braces. This is the first part of the seat. So everything is ready to go, but now we have to drill. So what I'll do now is bring over my drill press. My drill press, I already hooked up my jigs here so that everything would be done and they'd all be done the same. That way, a lot of uniformity. It makes everything easier in the long run because it'll all be the same. So we'll start with drilling the seats. We're going to put a hole in each side. What I'll do, I'm going to drill in each end. Every one's going to be exactly the same. Like I said, we have 18 of them to do. So I'm going to drill a few more. And then there's a few other things I want to start working on. Got the idea of what I have to do yet. I have approximately 14 more to do like this. Then after I'm done with all of these here, then I'm going to take over to the shaper, but I think I'll do that tomorrow. That way on the shaper, we put a round profile on everything we have. We have drilling to do on all of our mains here. On these here, we're going to be drilling with 3/8 bolts. go in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 3/8 holes in here, and I'm going to use 5/16 bolts. That gives you a little bit of leeway as you go. Here's the leg that will go in the back. That'll be like this here. They're all marked, pre-marked here, pre-marked down there. So when they go together with these 2 holes here and these 2 holes here, they'll be bolted together just like that. That'll be the back of your chair. That'll be the back of your chair. The front of your chair, or the front leg of your chair, or this one here. This guy will be going on like this here. It has 2 pre-holes ready to be drilled there. That will go on here like this here. Everything lines up. Perfect, just like that. Everything has a place for it. So that'll be our next job. So for now, let's take a break. Yesterday we finished planing all of these down. We ran them all over the joiner, 18 of them. I finished this morning drilling all the holes, the pilot holes, for our screws. I only have a few more holes to drill anymore. These were your mains. I drilled 3/8 holes in here to put a 5/16 fold in here to hold my leg. I'll explain all that later. But right now, what I want to do, I want to finish drilling the 3/8 holes for my 4 mains, and for my 4 legs, for my 8 legs that go on the 2 chairs. So what I want to do is finish drilling these, this one and that one, and then all the 3/8 holes are drilled. Then after that, we're going to show you how we're going to countersink them for the screws and the buttons. Now, everything is drilled now. Now they have to be counter drilled. Now the drill I use in here is it's a pilot hole. It has a pilot point. It's a Black & Decker 3/8 bit. And these babies really cut. So what I want to do now is I have my depth gauge set up on my drill. I run this screw, I tighten it up good, these nuts here, and that holds my drill bit to a certain depth. And what I want to do that for is when I take my chair slats, instead of just, I drill all the pilot holes already to accept my screw. Now I'm using 1.5 inch exterior pointed screws, and these babies really hold. But instead of running screws in and showing the ends like this here, or even running them in and putting filler in there, what I like to do is countersink them to accept the button. I run that pointy shank right into that pilot hole there. It only goes in so far because I have these nuts tightened up here so that it can't go any further than that. And then I do it to all of this now. Now the screw will go in there. I'll run that screw in as tight as it goes, and then babies hold. That's in almost 1 inch. And then I have buttons. These buttons get glued right in there. Now that's a nice job. That's a first-class job. But we're not done yet. We have all of these to do. Everything here, all of these legs and everything, they all have to be drilled and all the buttons put in after they're screwed. But in the meantime, I want to do all this countersinking. The countersinking will take quite a while. And also, all of our top, like these are our fans for the roof, for the top. These are the 4 different lengths that will go on our backrests, and they're all like this here. We have 3 on each side, and then we have the main one that goes in the middle, and that creates your fan. Now, when we cut these out on the bandsaw and on the table saw, we didn't get a very good cut. I mean, it's a saw cut, a rough saw cut. So what I want to do is run everything we have over the joiner and make everything dressed nice. So, in the meantime, what I want to do is finish cutting some of these buttons for the buttons, and then I can get myself together and have everything the way I want it. I'm going to run these over the joiner. I'm going to run these through to make my buttons on here. And then after all that is done, then we're going to use the shaper and cut the profile round on everything. So, be back in a minute. Okay, now, we have quite a few of these to countersink. I'm going to countersink a few more, and then I'm going to countersink maybe a part of each one so that you have an idea of what we're doing. By using that shank, pointy shank on there, it's easy to set it right in there. You can really set it right in there. It does a nice job. Now, like I said, these are the seats. I'll drill one more seat, then I'll drill another part so you get an idea. Now these buttons, you can get these buttons at any lumber company or any hobby shop. It does a nicer job. It sort of has a professional look to it. Now these here are the main. I don't have to worry about doing any buttons on there because these are all the 3/8 bolts that go in here. Actually, they're the 5/16 bolts. By using 3/8 bolts in a 3/8 bolt, you have no variability. You can't move it at all. But with my legs and everything, like here's my leg that goes up here. This leg goes up here like this. When you put your bolts in, everything lines up like this. Everything will be squared up. This leg will go here. This leg will go here. So all these have to be drilled. These are all 3/8 bolts that have to be drilled in here. So then we're all set. I'll drill a few more. Countersinking just the top of these because this holds it on the bottom. This will hold it on the bottom like this. And this one here is countersunk only because that is where the armrest gets hooked into. Right there. So that will be shown, and that has to have a button in it. So you have to think what your next move is. If you should drill all the way through or if you should countersink. So I have everything marked so that I don't countersink the wrong end because you only put the buttons on the outside, not the inside. It sounds a little screwed up now, but once the whole thing starts to come together, then you'll see what we're doing. Try to do it in matches, match everything up so that you don't forget any. So you have an awful lot of pieces, and you want to make sure that you don't forget a piece. These are my 4 back legs. My 4 front legs. My 4 front legs are here. This one's countersunk. I have to do these yet. You think that we're almost done, we're a long way from being done. Unless you want a sloppy job. But after all this is done, I'm going to have to put the profile on here on the shaper. And everything is going to be finished sanded. A lot of this rough edges here is going to be taken off on a joiner. But that's another time. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to get all the holes drilled so that we know where we're at. We have the 4 legs already drilled. They're drilled for the 3/8 bolts, and they're drilled for the 1 5/8 screws and the buttons. So now that's done. The outside legs are done. These 4 legs are done. They're done as far as the drilling is concerned because we still have to finish plane it and put the profile on with the shaper. But we're making headway. Now we also have 17 more of these to drill. But we won't do that right now because we don't want to make this any boring. Although this isn't a boring job. Now all these have to be put on the shaper or put on the joiner. So maybe I'll run the joiner a little bit for you and we'll get that done. In the meantime, what I want to do is clean up this job site a little bit, make sure that everything is clean for my next operation. I thought while I'm at it, I might as well run all these over the joiner and get these out of the way. Because the only drilling I do on the back is the first one, the one in the middle. The one in the middle, I set my pilot hole here and I pre-drill it for the button and everything. That will get screwed right into the chair. That will get screwed in to this part right here. This will get screwed into this part right here. This gets nailed on to the bottom. This part here gets screwed into here like this. This gets screwed on to here like this, right where my holes are and everything. That gets screwed right into there. So after that's screwed into here, onto the other one, then I take the first one, which is the big one, which is this guy here. That gets screwed right into the middle. Then I make sure that it's nice and straight so that it isn't cocked. Then I come up here and I drill a hole here and countersink it, and I put that one, which goes into this piece right there. These pieces go on top of these pieces like that. Now I know that you're lost, and it'll all come to you when you see me putting everything together. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is finish dressing these guys up, take a shot off both sides, like maybe about a 32nd of an inch or a 16th of an inch off both sides. I don't lose much stock, but everything is nice and straight and clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock all this off, these here, and then the only ones that are done are the middle ones. So I'll take all of this here, then I'm all done with the backs, ready for the shaper. So, are you ready? Here we go. Now, can you see how this knife works? I showed you yesterday how these series of knives fly around in here. And this thing is a dangerous piece of equipment, but it does a heck of a job. So what I'm going to do now is take a joiner off of this. On the bottom of this cabinet, I mounted this joiner on top of this cabinet that I built. And I put these stops on here, they're regular door stops. It keeps the joiner from coming forward, and it gives you a pretty sturdy job. Because you don't want to start putting pressure on here and have this thing walking away on you. on one swipe, clean it off to here, but there's a few bad imperfections here. So I'm going to give it another swipe. Taking off a hair, a 1/16 of an inch at the most, but it's enough just to clear everything up and make everything nice and straight. All this tomorrow. I just wanted you to get an idea of how I do this. Now, this isn't even finished yet either, because what I'm going to do is bring my sander over, my disc sander, and I'll put this against the disc sander, and we'll take care of that. So in the meantime, I'll bring it over here. I'll knock off a couple of them real fast for you, so you can see how I do this. All my machinery is on rails, so it's easily transported around my shop. This is called my table and my disc sander. This does an awful lot of work to keep your from over sanding. It gives you a good idea of what you have going for you. So, in order to keep the place clean, I hook my exhaust system also to this here. So what I'll do is turn it on, sand a few of them for you, so you can see what I'm doing. This is a little rough here. You can see there is a lot of operations in order to complete just one piece of wood. Now all of these, after this is all done, I'm going to go over the whole thing on the shaper, put the profile on, and then finish sanding it with 120 grit sandpaper so that it's nice and smooth. Then it's ready for the stain and the varnish. So I think right now we're going to take a little break. Everything is cut. All the pieces are cut. 18 chair legs are all cut, drilled and pre-drilled for the dowels. I have all my pieces cut. All my back pieces are cut. Everything is cut and on the joiner, except I have a few pieces here that I have to run over the joiner and run on a sander here yet, and then everything is done. Then all I have to do is bring the shaper over, hit my profile on all of these, and then I'm ready for a complete finished sand job by hand on every piece. So we'll start now, we'll finish up the joiner work, and then we'll go back on the sander and finish that up. Everything's done on the joiner. Now what I'll do is finish up on the sander now. There's only a few little pieces to do anymore, so... pieces go on the top. These are the pieces that are nailed on the top of the leg. The top of the legs are right here. These pieces here, right here they are. Just to show you where all these pieces go. These pieces then will be screwed on the top of the leg, right here, like this here. And all of that fan will all be screwed onto here as they go down. So everything has a purpose and everything is needed. Everything is done now as far as the sanding, the screwing, the countersinking. The only thing left to do now is to bring the shaper over, knock this profile off all the way around, and then finish sanding. And then we're all set for the staining and the varnishing. Shaper. I made this shaper because it's a lot easier to work on a job like this than it would be with a regular router. Now, a regular router you would have just a router like this here, and you would have to take the router, put the hole in there, you'd have to clamp the piece down, you'd have to always clamp a piece down like this and route it. But by having a router table like this here, I made this so that it would be a little easier. Now in here is my dust collection system. Here's my whole router. Everything is set up in here. I can take this out to change the bits. Everything is in here. I mounted a piece of plexiglass on here. I screwed it in, and I mounted a 1/2-inch rounding bit, carbaloid bit, with a bearing on top for easy maneuvering. I fitted it right in here like this here. This goes in here like this here. I hook the cable around here, the cord around here so that it doesn't get snagged up. And then I hook on the conditioning, that the air, all of the dust goes into here. When I put this guy down, when I put this fella down here like this here, that blade spins around, all the dust goes into this hole. It goes down through the system. I have a PVC pipe connected here, all the way down through, over to here. I hook in my air hose right into here. Then I take the other end, hook it into my vacuum cleaner, and when I turn the vacuum cleaner on, everything that's sucked into here, you can feel it. You can feel it comes in there. And all of this dust flows into this hole here, right out here, and I have no dust in the shop. Without this setup, I would have to either go outside in the cold or in the hot. Here it's nice and dry, and it's dust-free. So before you start a job like this here, you have to set everything up so that you have everything lined up. So the first thing we do is we take a straight edge like this, a straight edge like this here. We put a block here. We set this on here so that it lines up with the bearing. That bearing right there, once it lines up with that bearing, then all you have to do is bring out your fence so that it's nice and straight onto that bearing there. And that bearing controls everything. Keep this right there where it's nice and tight. You put these on, lock them in, put the other one on. Now everything is nice and tight. It's against the bearing. You tighten them up real tight so that they can't move, and then you're in business. I already have the bit on elevation so that I don't have to worry about it being too high or too low. Now, I put this down. That control, I have it locked in. It's on little blocks there. It goes right into them holes. And that goes sliding right into there. So, I'll close up the door, Just keep all the dust in there. Lock it in. I'll turn on my vacuum. Now she's ready to go. Ready to go. And I'll show you how it works. Hold it against the fence there. There's a nice round profile on there. All the dust is flying back. Over there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a push stick. I'm going to take a push stick and push him through, because that baby will tear your fingers off. So in order to be nice and safe, I'm not going to turn the vacuum on for just one cut, so then maybe you can see and hear what I'm doing. See everything blowing back into there, right down into the hole. That eliminates an awful lot of work for me. Let's suck everything back down in there. Done. Now it's all, everything is cold on the end there, and that's a nice job. Now, I'm going to repeat this, how many times? Maybe 75 times with all the pieces. And then after I get all the straight pieces done, I'm going to take off your fence, take it off completely, and I'm going to take this guy, like these here round pieces, these round pieces, these pieces that have to go around. I'm going to take those off. I'm going to take a guy like this, and I can do all that without the fences on. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut one or two more. I cut this one here now, just to give you an idea of how I do the straight work. I'll do a couple of the seats. The seats I even do all the way around, even on the ends, because it's going to be an end-grown spring showing you want it nice and round. So I'll do one of these, and then I'll take the fence off completely. And I'll show you how I do this, and I'll even do one of the ends, or maybe even one of the hands, the arms, so that you can see how I maneuver everything. But I'll do one of these yet. everything is done, everything is perfectly rounded off. They're all ready to be finished sanded. You see, they're a little rough here and there. And then it's always nice to know that this is where you're going to put your screw. You're going to put your screw right in here, like this. That's going to get screwed in. And then to cover that up, we use one of these buttons. And you have a job that you can be proud of. Remember, you make it right, you build it out of wood, it'll last forever. I mean, that'll be a nice looking job. So now what I'm going to do is, I'll take all of this apart so that I can show you how I do the big jobs. That way we can't use the fences. We can only use the fences on straight stuff like this here. So I'll take this off, set it over here. It shows you how easy it is to do on something like this. If I had to use the router on everything, it would be so much clamping and changing around, it would take forever to do it. Plus you wouldn't get the good job you get here, like this. Now, we're all set, and I'll show you how we do, the small stuff, the round stuff now. You always do the end grain first. You knock this profile off first so that when you do the end grain, you don't chip it out. If we were doing the end grain first, we're liable to chip this piece right out, and then you'd have a sloppy looking piece. So now this is the one for the one chair. This will be bolted. I'll show you where this goes. What I'll do right now is take care of this. This is all at a later date. We can get all of these done. These are all backgrounds. Now this is, like I said, this is the front of the chair, the arm, the main of the chair. This piece here gets bolted. You have two holes there. That gets bolted right there like that there. This is where the bottom of the chair. I'll lay this in here for you. This goes in like this. This gets bolted on like this. The other one like this goes on here. Here is where all your chair slats get. All of these guys, they all go in here like this, all the way up and around to here. Here is where your back comes up. Your first back, the main is here. This is the first main. This is the middle one. This one here goes dead center right here. I have it ready for the screw right there. That'll get screwed in right there, and then I'll screw it in the top. That'll be your first one. Then the rest I'll fan out from there. And we'll get onto that later. But for now, I want to show you how to do these without the fence. So I might as well do one of these for you, and then I'll do one of the armrests for you. But like I said before, keep the glasses on, keep the fingers out. All you want in there is dust. You don't want no fingers in there. And this baby runs. Look how fast that goes. That goes 1,300 RPMs a minute. On this is nice and round and smooth now. Now, what I'm going to do is, I made a mark on here, a match mark on here, and I made a match mark on this guy here. And then I made two different kind of match marks on these two. The reason I did that was I tried to buddy them up so I could have a perfect pair. I mean, no matter how hard you try, you'll always have a slight variation, even if it's only 1/8 of an inch. It could very easily throw off your contour. So I tried to get everything nice and straight. I put 2 bolts in and practiced it to make sure, or checked it out to make sure that we were running nice and straight. And this is my pair. This pair, perfect. And then the other pair, they line up. So it's all a matter of trying to be a little conscientious and thinking ahead a little bit, but it pays off in the long run. So what I'll do before we close for tonight is I'll try to do an armrest. Now this is the armrest. Now, these armrests get nailed into here like this. They get bolted in there like that there. See the screw holes in there? Everything is all set up right there. Now, I don't have to round this off here because that is going to be locked in right there like that there. So everything is going to be screwed and glued, so it's going to be a good tight job. I just want you to get a little idea of how, when we start putting it all together, you'll all understand how it goes. So in the meantime, I want to knock out one of these, and then I'll even knock out one of these for you so you see how easy it is to work with instead of doing it by hand like this. You know, all of these would have to be bolted or clamped down to a horse, all of this here, and then you'd have to flip it over. This way it's so easy. So that's why I'm glad I built this, and there's no dust. What I have here is very minimal. Now you see the reason why we don't have to worry about it going too deep or anything like that is on this bit we have a roller bearing on here, and that is your guide right there. It rides on there and it cuts this. It cuts that profile right there. So actually this is the boss. You ride it on that bearing like this here, and it'll only take off as much as it calls for. I could jack that up, I could jack it down, the yellow thing, that's the bit, and only take off a certain amount. So what I'm going to do now is I have this guy done. I'm going to do the small one. Then you'll have an idea of how I do every one of them. Now these are small, so you have to be very careful so that you don't get cut. Does a nice job. These are underneath the armrest. These go underneath here, like this here. They will be bolted through here, through the top. Give you an idea how they go. Whoop. This gets bolted on here, through here. There's where the other leg, the leg comes up here. So everything has a purpose, and it will all fit together and all fall together. And when it's done, you'll have something you can be proud of for a long time. Okay, I'll see you all tomorrow. Hiya. I just went for some Minwax Golden Provincial Oak. We're going to stain everything now. We're all ready to stain. Everything is done. All the legs are done. Everything is finished. Everything's done on the shaper, the sander, the bandsaw. We're going to stain it a nice golden oak. Here's our tops. Here's all our braces. Everything is done. I certainly aren't going to stain like this, so I'll be out in a minute. Well, we've done a lot of staining today. I have all of the chair done. I have a few of the mains done. I have a lot of the small parts done here. I have a few more parts to do yet. I have the hands done. All your chair rests, your arm rests, they're done. I have one more main to do yet. A lot of people don't stain, they don't stain until the whole chair is put together. But I like to stain individual pieces because I think you get into every corner and every part of it without missing anything. And the one reason why I really stain first is we're not only going to screw these pieces all together, we're going to stain, we're going to glue them together. And when you put pieces together and you have to glue them, there's a good possibility that you could possibly get a little glue on a joint where you're putting two pieces together. And if you do that and you have glue there, the stain won't penetrate through the glue to the wood, and then you have a spotty job, where this way you know everything will be taken care of. All I do is take this is min wax, this is golden oak, and this will shine up really nice when it's all varnished. And I just put it on like this. Don't be afraid to use enough because it penetrates the wood. Now this is pine, so it doesn't penetrate like a real soft wood. It penetrates the wood and it'll stay there forever. Like I said, it's golden oak. We have so many different stains. I try to make every one a little different so that every one of my children has a different color. Tomorrow I'll have these will be all dry tomorrow, and then I can start bolting everything together. And then we'll be putting everything together, and you'll be able to see then firsthand how it's like to put everything together. And you can see the difference. You can see the difference between stained and natural. Now, if I would have used a mahogany or something like that, it would have been a lot darker. But this is a nice color. I have most of my, I have the one set of backrests all finished over here. But I wanted to do a couple while you were here, so you get an idea how. There's 60 pieces for 2 chairs. So after I got all the sanding done, that's most of the work is sanding. But everything is nice and smooth. This doesn't take too long. But once this is varnished, oh, this will shine. And that'll look really nice. I'll stand it up over here overnight to dry. So I'm going to do 1 or 2 more of these tonight. And then tomorrow I'll be all finished with them. I have the one whole set done, but they go fast. You got to take your time. Everything has a reason. You measure everything. Measure twice. Cut it once. An old-time carpenter told me that a long, long time ago when I was an apprentice. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time. Think before you do anything, because lumber costs a lot of money, and you don't want to goof it up. You can remember a couple days ago we had 6 boards sitting there. 6 1x12s. And out of those 6 1x12s, we're going to have 2 nice chairs that they'll have the rest of their lives. I put them over here because I keep them in line so that I know this is a section, and this is one set, and this is the other set. So, I'll have this finished in a couple minutes, and then you can come back tomorrow night, and I'll be able to start putting them together for you. Okay? We'll see you. I got done staining everything, and I took my top leg, my bottom leg, and my main. I bolted them together. I used a 5/16 bolt in a 3/8 hole. That gives me a little leeway, and it gives me a chance to square everything up. So I put it on a solid surface like this here, and I made sure that everything was plumb. Everything is on a 90. I put the square back here. I tighten this guy up. Everything is nice and straight and square. So that when I made these two up now, I made this set here. This is the one I'll put together tomorrow. And tonight I'll start putting the other one together. So over here, come on over, I'll show you how I did it over here. I put them both together on the horses here, and everything is squared up. I use my Ferguson clamps, tighten everything up, put C-clamps on, tighten everything up, put the square on to make sure that everything is square. Like I said before, measure twice and cut once. And now it starts to pay off whether or not you did any kind of quality measuring. So everything is square. Everything is ready to go. Now I'm all set to glue and screw my mains. This is my bottom that holds my top chair on the back. And everything, and then we're all set. I want to glue everything. Everything I think should be glued and screwed down. So I take glue, and that's why I stained it first, because if it wasn't stained, you'd always have to be afraid of a little over gluing, and the glue would be running down, and it would mar the surface for the stain, and it would never get. So I put a little glue on there, and I take, this is my main. I take this, center it, my holes are all drilled and everything, take everything, center it down, and I take my 1 3/4 inch Phillips head 20 screws, and I drive them babies in. Like they're already countersunk and everything for the buttons, so I don't have to worry. And everything is clamped down. I have my 18-inch spreaders in here to make sure that I'm not moving the legs either way, so that everything stays square. And then I put a clamp on to hold everything tight. And these babies really hold. And they're exterior screws, and they're Phillips head 1.5 inch, 1 5/8, 1 3/4, different sizes. Now that's all set up in there, ready to go. Now that glue is tight in there. That probably would hold it. We could take the screws out. But now if any glue would come out on here, like this here, then it would probably hard. You couldn't stain it, and we don't want that. We have it already stained. So that's why I say stain it first, varnish it later, and you don't have to worry about anything, any over gluing. But everything is glued now and that's screwed. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to put the first main on out here in the front. This is also going to take the same kind of screws and the same kind of glue and everything to make sure that everything is tight. Once I put this on, that one on, and the top one, then I know everything is square and screwed on. On nice and straight. Put the next guy on here. Put this one on. We're going to try to hold a distance in here so that we don't have to worry about running out of room. So I've pre-measured everything so that we have a gap in between. But I want to put some glue on here. I already forgot to put glue on. Probably glue really wouldn't be that necessary because these screws do the job. But it's always nice to double check everything and have it ready. Excess glue that's on there, which really don't matter now because when I varnish it you really won't see it, but it's nice to be on top of it. Now this one here, I had a notch already. I had to put it on here, fills in between, it fits in between everything here, and I already beveled it and cut it so that it fits the contour. That fits in there just like that. I have a slight gap in between there, and that gives you a nice smooth surface for your legs. And I'll put some glue on here, and a little on here, and then we're all set. Lifetime, so you want to make sure that you do all those little things that make it look nice. Wipe all the glue away. You know, that's nice and smooth. And I got these two guys, they fit right in here like this. But I'll have to put a little glue on here also. I'll put one or two of these on, then I'll start the back. So you have an idea just how it looks. All these holes will be filled with buttons, so you'll never see nothing. I'll throw one more on. Put a little glue on. Double check, make sure it's all right. Fit right in there. I better cut a little off, just a hair off there. Stain on there just so that you don't have any white marks. Now that ought to fit nice in there now. Well, it's always good to cut it twice. You can't cut it longer. Up then with my light oak stain. Now that fits good. Now I'll put a little glue on again, and we'll do the back. Do some on the back, and you get an idea what that looks like. There. Don't pay to rush, just take your time. All right. Now this is fastened. This is fastened. I'm going to just keep running these on here. That would take it all the way down to there. But before I go that far, I want to put this guy on, up on the top here. I have the holes already lined up. And what I'll do, make sure it lines up right here. And then I'll put the middle one on right here. Keep everything square. Don't be afraid to put too much glue on because it'll all come off. That's why it's always good to pre-drill everything. Now. Okay. Everything is lined up, square. The one good thing about it is when you pre-drill everything, you should make sure that the holes, the length between these two holes will coincide with the length between these two holes. It's always, these holes in this one will be 3/4 of an inch inside of this one. And everything should line up. That way you have nothing to worry about. Now that's nice and tight. Everything is square. There's very little glue dripping out, but we'll make sure it's all clean. Now, if I wouldn't have this stained yet, I would have to wash this with soap and with just cold water to get all that glue off, so that the stain would take care of it. Because if you don't, you're going to have a mark there, and it's not going to look good at all. So what I'll do now is, the only one that I pre-drilled was on the middle one, was at the bottom, because this is definitely trial and error. You have to hit the first one in the center. You're going to drill it. And I'm going to nail this guy in here temporary. Just temporary. I'm going to put this guy in here. Just temporary. I'm going to take the screw out again. By doing that, I can mark the top one exactly where I want it. Now that looks pretty good, dead center there, right there. Now what I'll do is measure it. I'll measure it. Both sides here. Now that's 8 3/4. On this side, 8 1/2. So I'm going to jack it over 5/8 to 5/8. This side, 8 5/8. Now I know it's centered. Now what I'm going to do, just put a mark here, so that if it moves, I don't have to worry about it. Then I'll take this drill here. I'll drill the pilot hole in here, like this, so that it lines up. And then I'm going to take it off. Take it off. Take it over to the drill press that's already set up. And we're all set. What I'll do then is just put a little glue on the back here, like this. up here. I already have my mark there, so I know I'm right. There it is. That baby's in there. Now I know I'm perfectly straight. Everything will fan out perfect. What I've got to do is I'm going to put one more on each side yet. And I can't go any more than that until I take another rung, another seat, put it in here, like this here. This is the way the next one goes, in here like this here. But I want to spread these out. I might have to just jack it just a 16th or something like that. But I also want to make sure that I can run all of these down. Now as I get, this guy comes in like this. Now I can still, oh I'm sorry, I got the wrong one. As I come over here with this guy, this is the next one now. Now that'll come down here and I can still make it. But the next one would probably hit right here. I'll get the next one in line then. This one goes like this, and then this one goes like this. So what I do then is I bring this in as close as I can, like this, and then I just mark this guy. I make a little notch in there so that this goes below it. It looks a lot better than just chamfering this. And then the next one goes on here. The last one would go on here then. So that'll be another piece coming out of there. But that's how I do it. So I'm going to put this one on, and then the next one that comes over here like this. Then I'll stop on this one here. And then I think maybe we'll go to the next step. But this one, this is our next one here. Goes like this. So what I'm going to do, like I did before, mark it like this. See, if I'm doing that, I can see where I'm at. I don't have to worry about missing it. Drill press. Do like we did before. Put a little glue on the ends. By keeping them straight like this, it also lines up the buttons that I put on. Now, you got an idea how it's going? It would be pretty hard to pre-drill all of these. I mean, you're only shooting in at 3/4 of an inch. It would be pretty hard to pre-drill anything. So what I always do is I just make sure that I start my first one, and that's the boss. Then the rest I flare out and keep this nice and straight. You can see now the next one would be here. But I can't put this, oh, it's this one here, I'm sorry. It's this guy here. And I can't put this guy on yet because, like I said, this got to be notched out. So what I'm going to do for tonight is just put the one on the other side, and then I'm ready to quit for today. See that? That's the way it goes. Now I'll pre-drill these like I did the others. Make sure up on top, that's really where good. Very good. Everything is clean. Wipe everything off nice. Very little overlay. So now we're all set. Now see, that's a good start for today. Everything lines up nice. These will have to fit in. I could put a couple more in here, but like I said, the one thing that I want to make sure is I want to put all of them in here. I want to lay them out. I can lay 3 or 4 out. See how they look. It takes 9. And I have one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to take 4 more in here. So that means I got to stretch these out and make them look right. Now that'll be about like that, like that, like this, like this. See how they open up? Just enough to get these others through. So that's why I want to, here I keep it a little tighter for the contour. If I open these up, you'll have more sharp edges here. So this makes it nice and smooth. So that's what I'll do. Now there it is. There's one about there. The next one will be about there. Then here, and here, and there. Just like that. Now the next one will just about make it, but I have to shave it a little bit. The next one I have to notch in here. It'll be like a piece out of here, just like that, to fit the other one through. But you got a general idea how we're going to do it. So tomorrow, whenever you decide to come and check this out, maybe I'll have a little bit to go yet. I can show you how we're going to put, we can put the handles on. Now these handles, I have everything spread out. Now this is number 4. Now this guy goes right on here, and there's a hole in here. You see the hole in here? This gets bolted through there and holds this guy on. And then it gets nailed. I put a nail in here, a finish nail in here, because I don't want no buttons on here. So I finish nail it with an 8-inch finish nail. It's 2.5 inches long. It gives you good penetration. But on the other side, over here, on this, with these here, I already have it drilled over here. Counter drilled, counter sunk for the buttons. Here comes the holes out of there. This guy gets put on like this. This guy gets put on there. Gets on there just like that. And see, that's a perfect fit. That's how she goes. But it had to be measured 5, 6 times. Now what I did was, it was hard to make sure that this was the perfect fit underneath here. So I bolted this on here first when I laid everything out, and I scribed it under here so that this would be a perfect fit. We didn't want an opening in here, 1/8 inch or whatever it was. It's hard in the beginning. I always cut these square because I just don't know in the beginning where I'm going to drill and where I'm going to countersink. So that's why I cut them square and then I scribe it. And then the other one on the other side goes over here. And there, it's the same thing. It's hard. I'd like to get these on before I put all of these on, because underneath here, you don't want to just have the handles being, the armrests being set with just one screw in here. They could trip. So what we also have these here. This is another thing. This piece gets put on underneath here, like this here. They're already pre-drilled. They're already pre-drilled, and this is where you get your buttons and everything like that. And then this guy goes on. It goes on here like this. Gets nailed there. Gets screwed there. And then these guys here, they help to hold it up. But by putting this fan on all the way out to here, it makes it a little rough to put these screws in. So what I have to do is work ahead of myself a little bit, put the armrests on, put this guy on, then I can finish putting these guys on. So after you make so many of them, you know there's a few shortcuts that you have to do ahead of time. But we had a long day today, so I think what I'm going to do is say, take care, God bless, and come back tomorrow night. Okay, we're ready to go. We quit last night, we put these guys on, and we got it up to here. So what I'm going to do today is, I have to my arms on first, because I have a piece that goes behind here, and it's hard to put it on with the full profile in the back here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these guys on. I already pre-drilled all the holes and I countersunk them all. And we're going to put the first guy on. I want to glue it a little bit. It's always nice to have glue on them. I want to make sure that there's enough glue on it. All right. I'm going to put the glasses on so I can see. Off the excess glue a little bit. Got to keep these nice and glue them on and screw them up good, because you know how many kids are going to be sitting on these armrests. Put a little more glue on here. Screw this one on, putting the screw right through here, because I had it already pre-drilled. We'll put this guy on here, put a little glue on here. The only place that we use nails on this whole job is on here. I don't want to put any buttons on here. And by putting it on, nailing it in, I drive 2 nails in there, and then I have a nice job for the, it'll look decent when I'm done. Now, gotta get the nails. Bring this over right like that. Tie these up. I can put that on there. Put it right there. These here, I'll fill in to sink them with the nut runner themselves, and that'll hold it. I'll take that screwdriver, drive them in. This here, I'll just cover this with wood filler too. These three, no buttons on here. I'll put buttons on here, but you don't want to have a button on where you're having your hand. But now that's nice and tight in there. And it's all glued up. And that'll hold anybody holding a child. And it'll certainly hold a 16-ounce beer or soda when you're in there. Have it on there. Right there. Maybe a little more. Now we're all set. Now we'll do the other side. The other side's the same way. We'll put this one on. We'll put this fellow on here first. I want to glue it. And we're all set. This glue dries transparent, so you'll never have to worry about seeing it after it dries. And everything is stained already, so we don't have to worry about the stain not being able to penetrate the glue because it's all done. Now we're all set for the next arm. Put a little glue on here. Start this glue over here. Okay. Here. Screw that down after I nail this in. put a screw in here. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Run this, put it down a little bit with a screwdriver. Every once in a while you wish you had 3 hands so you can remember where you put everything. There it is. Okay, them babies are tight. Everything is tight, glued, no glue runoff, and everything is nice and tight. Now, I can take the piece that I have over here, I'll wipe the glue off of there. Now I have a piece that goes underneath here. This piece right over here. This piece here. This goes underneath here. Goes right up against there. We put screws in here and over there. That helps to support the arms. So I'll start with that right now. I'll put these in. I'll put a little glue in the back. And that's all tightened up. Have 3/4 of an inch stock to go into, so when you pre-drill this stuff, you have to make sure that you're on the ball and everything is square, or you're going to come into here and split it out or something like that. So it takes a little bit of time to make sure that you're right, that you don't make a mistake. Like I said, measure twice, cut once. This tool here, this saves an awful lot of work for a lot. You don't have to do too much screwdriver. Now, to make sure that it don't move, we're also going to screw it down this way. Now, I have these holes in here already pre-drilled. There they are. That held that down. Look how nice and tight that is. Crank. Okay. I'll put one over here. And there's your arms. You can start seeing it coming into place now. Everything is down tight and, oh boy, that's nice. Slot. This guy here, it's got to go on like this. I like to give them a final tug by hand so I know how it feels. Okay. And then I have another one on this side. Put them both on at the same time. I have to put that bottom piece on. Oh, that's not it. This one. Right here. smooth there, nice and round. So I got to take the piece, I got to take this piece here, I got to set it on here, and I have to notch it around here so that I can get this last slot. This guy here, it's got to go on like this. It has to go down. So we have to notch this one out a little bit so that it goes back in there so we can get it all the way back to here. Now, it's got to be notched here and there. So what I have to do is just mark it a little bit. I'm going to mark it with the scribe it so that I can cut it out on a bandsaw. So what I'm going to do is just mark them, and I'm going to notch these out so that it fits right in there. When I come back, we'll notch these out. Check and see how it fits. Oh, that's good. That'll fit right in there like that there. Now what I'll do now, give it a little sanding here so that you keep it nice and get it down, get those rough edges off of there.